Um, so assignment 3. Is this week 10?
Yeah.
Okay. So everyone else's other classes are due this week, or do they have
Next week.
next week? They've made it due next week.
Yeah.
And so we agreed at the beginning of the term that we'd have the final assignment due week 12. Because I need to get the marks in week 14.
Sorry, yeah, they're due week 12, not next week.
Oh, okay. So
The
yeah,
other classes.
it's due the same. It's due the same week as your other you've just got Nicole, right? It's just me and Nicole.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those other courses, they're all due week 12, the same as this one. This particular final thing is a presentation because I want to give you guys the chance to also have a verbal presentation of what you've done. So assignment 3 equals the final assignment. Which means it's meant to be sort of a combination of everything that we've done this term. So what I'd like to see is any work that you did from assignment 1 and 2 rolling into a presentation. So feel free to take on comments from Leon, myself, for like the visual side of things and the communication side for those assignments, and it'll give you an opportunity, maybe for those of you who might not have done so well with those, to improve those drawings in the presentation. And then we've obviously got the assignment, so the facade design that also goes into that presentation. So what we should actually be seeing is a presentation that shows the design process of picking a site, creating setbacks and a mass, laying out a structural grid and floor slabs with stairs and like a core, and then wrapping that building in a facade. So we're actually like, this is getting to the point where you've got kind of the bare bones of a building design to present to someone. So that's how I kind of need you guys to approach this, even though the grasshopper files and the three, like the Rhino file, should only be for the facade design. The final presentation should take all into account. Now, there is about 20 of you. Hold up, I'm just going to close this. There's about 20 of you, and we've got 5 hours to present. So it's 15-minute presentation each. That's not like, that's already quite intimidating. I can already feel every single one of you being like, I don't want to do a 15-minute presentation. That sounds like a crazy amount of time. So what we will do is we will reserve 15 minutes for each student. And there will be feedback from Leo and myself. And the presentation, let's aim for about 7 to 8 minutes. And I'm not going to penalize you if you go over or under, other than the fact that if you present way too much information to us, then we'll let you know why that's not a good thing with your particular presentation. And as well, I've given out 5-minute presentations in the past to students, and I've been given like a 30-second presentation. And I'm sure some of you have seen those types of presentations. Obviously, we'll be marking that on what was presented. So yeah, if you've got 7 minutes and you only present us with 30 seconds, that's gonna, I don't really care about the time. It's the fact that you haven't presented anything to us. So if you can convey all the information that you can in that 30 seconds, then great. But otherwise, let's aim for that 7 minutes. That generally means for an architectural presentation, 7 minutes would be usually 1 slide per minute. But that is because we generally, like, a professional kind of knows how to communicate what they're doing. So I would say for a student, you may be looking at 2 slides per minute. So if you've got a presentation set out and there's about 14 slides in it, you guys will probably get that to 7 minutes. It's definitely 30 seconds of talking per slide. I'm just going to quickly go over some ground rules for doing presentations. I know everyone should really have learnt how to do presentations from high school and also from first year of uni, but I just want to make it really clear that there are some rules that people just skip over, and they're foundational rules that a presentation should all follow. And that is, number 1 is you are telling a story. And that story isn't Pulp Fiction. And I'll get to what that means in a second. So every story we have usually runs with like an introduction or a hook. Then you run through the meat of the story, and then it has a conclusion. Pick any folk story, be it like I'll just pick a fairly complicated one like Hansel and Gretel. Hansel and Gretel are walking through the forest, and they decide to follow. They decide to sort of go exploring without taking any precautions, and part of that is we are introduced to Hansel and Gretel. We're introduced to the scene that we're in. We're in a German forest. We know that they're children, and they come upon a house made of gingerbread and lollies, and it's fantastical. So we already kind of get an idea of, okay, the story is fictional. There's obviously magic and something fantasy about it. So, and that's generally done very quickly, and you're kind of introduced to almost all the characters of the story all at once. What you guys need to do is almost give us an idea of what we're going to be seeing over that whole 7-minute presentation in 1 or 2 slides at the very beginning. We need to see maybe the final result of the building and explain within that we are in North Ryde. No, is it North Ryde? Sorry, we're in Macquarie Park, which is in Ryde. And maybe some of the various things that have affected your decisions with with the building that you've designed. And because we're not actually telling a true like fictional story. We don't care about twists and turns and whatnot. You can actually reveal the end. So we can actually say, hey, here's a conclusion, a brief conclusion. And what I mean by that is, we're in control of the timeline that we have. So we have the intro, the hook, and this brief conclusion. Part of the conclusion when it comes to architecture is, have we succeeded at what we set out to do? So the client has asked for FSR of let's say 5:1, or they've asked for a certain amount of area, and you know that you've achieved that, then go through your goals that were achieved, and then when you get to your conclusion, by then you've proven you met your goals. So what were your goals? Were you trying to make a building that actually has some excitement to it, and use the meat of the story to prove that, and then just make sure that at the end you just re-clarify that you did actually meet those goals. So sometimes you will see in architecture this thing called post-rationalization. Rationalization? Is that actually correct? I just feel like that's a way too complicated word. These guys are gonna oh yeah, it is. Yep, post-rationalization, where someone might say, okay, I'm gonna do this cool design, and just serendipitously they discover that that design also happens to just be really good for a solar strategy. They go, oh, let's put some random blocks on the facade, and as they work, they just go, oh, okay, these random blocks are actually preventing sunlight from coming in, and then later they start sort of working on that and refining it and actually getting it to be random and also good, like a good thermal strategy. So in their presentation they will say, hey, we set out to have a integrated art piece with a ESD strategy, and they'll do a little diagram, and then they'll say, hey, look, we've done that. Our facade achieves that. And it's really, look, like it's really not very genuine in what we're trying to do, but it gets to a point where you are trying to sell yourself and you're trying to sell your design, and there you have to employ marketing tricks. And one of those marketing tricks is to say, like, do exactly this. You've post-rationalized something that has been discovered through research process, like design is in a way research, and so we can't be 100% sure what we're going to come up with as we design, and this just kind of ties it all together and turns it into a good story. So I used to hate post-rationalization, but then like it's just marketing techniques. So yeah, you're telling a story. Be sure to utilize some post-rationalization. So even though you didn't set out to do something, but you managed to achieve it, present it as if you were actually trying to do that in that intro, and then make sure that you've proven that you've met the goals that you've set out to do. And some of those goals are obviously the goals that were set by the course. So for example, working with FSR, etc., etc. One last thing, always consider your audience. So in this case, this presentation, it's Leo and Andrew pretending to not know you. So Leo and I have seen your assignments, like I've marked them, so it's not like it's going to be a surprise when I see the work again. But you need to assume that this is like a simulation, that Leo and I actually haven't seen any of that work. So we will be expecting you to talk to us as fresh people. Talk to us as if we are clients or employers. And this is the key one. Talk to us as if you were doing a job interview and an employer has asked you to explain the work that you're presenting in your portfolio. This is the work that, like, let's say you put this presentation in your portfolio. You need to present to us as if we don't know who you are or what you've done, and that we might be employing you to either do a job as a client or do a job as an employer. And I think so. If you treat it like that, just as you're putting this together over the next 2 weeks, imagine that you might be getting a job out of this, because I can say now that Leo and I both work in the industry. We both have a say in. We both can give advice to our companies. I might have a bit more say than Leo, but we both give advice to our companies over who might be employable. So just consider that this presentation is almost like you are actually talking to a potential employer, because Cox hires graduates from this course almost every year, and HDR might be doing so soon as well. They need to. It sounds like they want to be more efficient, so treat this as an important presentation. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Andrew?
Yeah.
There's a little bit question is that for my assessment one, I made a
Was I sharing
really
my screen
crazy.
throughout that?
No, you haven't.
Hang on.
It said for assessment one, I made a really crazy shape with my building.
Yep.
That it's big and looks strange and it's ugly. So I changed it in assessment two. So I made a different shape.
Yep.
So how would I present?
So take your assignment one and present it to us to show us, okay, this is where I started, and we've had to refine it. Okay, so tell a story.
Okay.
If you tell a story, you'll do okay. So exactly what you've said. I've done this, and then I've run into a problem. It didn't work for a structural grid, so I've refined it. Show us what you refined, and you should be fine, right? And this is exactly what I mean by, like, if I just said, hey, you have to give me a presentation that does ABC, then you're going to struggle to fit that. So you've got a free rein. You can tell whatever story you think is important of how you've come up with your design, and you can tell us why you made the changes. And it's actually good. You've actually done what happens in reality, which is that architects usually, when they do a design competition, it's not generally the final outcome. Like we cannot assume the thing that we come up on day one is the thing that will get built.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Andrew,
Yeah.
should we also speak about like the methods used if we happen to do like if the model happened to be like hybrid between like Grasshopper and Revit or whatever? Should we talk about that stuff or pretty much only the outputs?
Only if it's really important to you, right?
Okay.
So like if there's something that like I've asked for blocks of text in the past. Like I've asked for like a 500-word explanation of a design, and some people, they write a recount of how they coded the script, which I don't need because I've got the script. I can see what you've done with your script. And as well, people really struggle to actually, like, if you're in a presentation and you like a presentation with a client or an employer and you throw up a Grasshopper script, like a screenshot, all you're doing is just saying, hey, yeah, I can make like a script, right? Like, what does this tell any of us? Does it tell, like, you guys all use Grasshopper? What does what does this script tell you? You can't see, but all right. What does this script tell you?
Andrew,
Yeah.
so is it like, are you saying we should timeline our decision making? Is that like the best way to put it? So like our choices, like why we made our choices for the
No,
building.
he's saying we probably like shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Oh.
So see this.
We can't see if you're sharing.
Oh, you can't see?
Yeah, sorry.
It's still on the notes.
Okay. Can you see this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Excellent. What does this script tell you?
Nothing.
Not much, right? So this, like, I've seen plenty of professional presentations. They're usually from beginners with Grasshopper, and they put this up because they're actually quite impressed with what they've done, which they should be. You know, they've achieved something, but it doesn't tell anybody anything other than the fact that you've used Grasshopper, and also maybe your script's actually a complete mess because this is a complete mess. This is how this it might actually be bad for you to show your script, depending on who you're presenting to, because this script could potentially be a lot smaller, and I can see the outcome and I can see what you've done, and it's a bit much. So I would avoid putting any images of Grasshopper scripts in this presentation or in any of your portfolios. Show your outcomes. If you want to show pseudocode, that's far better for people to understand, because this is a waste of time and space for everyone. But if there's this point where you ran into something rather challenging because of the script and you had to come up with a solution, I encourage you to talk about that, because that'll give us a chance to see your actual perspective on that problem rather than just seeing it in the script when you submit it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And the question you said before, like, timeline your decision-making process. it's generally not like if you've come up with ideas in succession over the term, you don't have to put them into the presentation chronologically. Instead, it's almost like, okay, here's these decisions that we've made. Here's unless it's like a major design decision and you're trying to tell a story like what Guanlin said, where she has quite a lot of drawings that prove that the design's changed, then you might need to actually explain that in the chronology.
Yeah, I kind of had the same thing happen. So
Yep.
I think I'll talk about
Yep. Okay, cool. So that's assignment 3. Some other housekeeping. Those of you who are in the classroom right now, I have brought chocolate as a reward for doing the My Experience survey. But there's only just Josh. Come on. Is it going to focus? No, okay, it's not going to focus. So Josh gets all this chocolate. Oh, is it on background blur or something? So if you guys, I'm gonna hold on to this chocolate. If you guys come in for the final presentation, I will hand chocolate out to anyone who's done that survey. I want to say now, this is not a bribe for doing a good survey. This is a bribe to do the survey, if that makes sense. So if each of you could spend 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes right now going and doing the survey, that would be really good. So I'm just going to sit here for 5 to 10 minutes while you do it. And I'm sure someone's going to be like, there's no survey there. Is that right?
it comes up like it reminds you when you log into Moodle. So
Okay, cool. So has anyone done it yet or not?
Yeah, I've done it.
Okay, you get a chocolate.
Thank you.
No problem.
Where are the My Experiences? Mine isn't coming up when I log in.
I think if you just look, I don't know because I don't have to do them.
if you go to the main Moodle page, it should be like right below like the top of the page. Like you'll see the
Yeah. I got it. Thank you. My nerd girlfriend showed me.
Thanks, nerd girlfriend.
Andrew said, thanks, nerd girlfriend.
So are we physically presenting on week 12?
Those of you who can, I'd really like you to.
So just the same classroom on week 12?
Yep.
All right.
Same time, 9 o'clock?
Yep.
Okay.
Pardon? And no one can be like, oh, I can't do the presentation because I'm going away. Huh? You have a shift on that day? Okay, we'll just do you can do a recording, mate. By the way, also, no one can get extensions for this final assignment because the marks are due the next week. So that's it. Like that's the maximum that we can do. Pardon? This is the only. Yeah. Yes, I hate group assignments.
But I feel sorry. Do you remember Louis?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing that elective, and another old friend of mine, he was actually a publication designer for a transfer at Holland. He was in the same group as him, and Louis' work, he basically work on that. It was quite good because we had like specific roles.
Yes, yeah, no, group assignments. I, there's some unfortunate like things that happen in group assignments that you can't. Uh, it's very hard to change. Usually, what happens is the people that are good at certain things will just do the things that they're good at. So, the person who knows how to do presentations well, they'll end up doing the presentation. The person who's confident at talking in the presentation will be the one doing that. The person who knows how to code or design like the fastest or whatever, they'll just end up doing that. And so you very rarely get to see people developing the skills that they need to develop. Instead, they just work with the skills that they've got. And then you've also got the other issue of um, people's motivations. So yeah, people uni like sometimes at uni you can just be like, you know what, I can't be fucked doing this, and I'll just aim for a pass or whatever. And then there's other people in the group that are like, I need a HD for every court, like for everything that I do, and they just don't mix well in group work. And so you end up with people fighting, various people. Like it's good because you kind of get that social aspect of working in a team. So generally, what I do with group work is I mark everyone individually, but everyone has to work in a group. That most of the time, like uni courses do it, so they don't have to mark as much, which is just cheap, I think. Whatever.
My group did it, or there was like two people who were really, oh, one of them was like extremely, like, it was like he came to start this assignment 2 days before the presentation. And like he managed to get something out of it, and then he managed to apply it to everything. But like, how do you manage to spend 3 weeks for an assignment and just come out of it?
I once had to make a model, a physical model, a 1 to 20 model, with the 4 other people. No, 3 other people. Was it 2? Either way, I wanted to use the laser cutter to make the model because I thought it would take less time to do. And this was like the first year of masters in architecture. Was it? Yeah, the first year of masters in architecture. So everyone that I was doing this with had completed 3 years of architecture bachelor degree. This was 10 years ago in Adelaide. Um, and so I was like, I really want to use the laser cutter. I think we can reduce all the time and we can make a really good model. Can't like, do you agree? And so they were like, yeah, okay, whatever. Just do whatever you want, Andrew. And it turns out none of them knew how to use any drafting software. So one guy knew how to use Illustrator, and he'd been doing all his architectural plans, elevations, and drawings in Illustrator. And the others had been doing everything by hand for their bachelor degree. And so they couldn't draw anything to put into the laser cutter. So I ended up doing everything. Because I refused to build that thing by hand. So that kind of explains the type of university that I came from.
That one friend of mine just showed me Louis' work was like.
Just don't. I don't want to hear about it. It's not.
It's a graphic design. Shouldn't be so hard.
How's that? So how's the survey going? I want you to be honest. So yes, I know I can be a bit haphazard and vague. You can say that. That's all good.
No, just do it.
Huh?
No, just do it.
Do what?
Yeah. That's your usual.
Just be haphazard and vague?
No. Just if we ask like questions and stuff, it's like no, just do it.
Oh, okay.
It's all good.
Just do it.
Yeah, just do it.
Just do it.
No architectural background, all good. Just do it.
The thing, usually what happens is not enough people do those surveys. They need like 70% of a class to do a survey for it to be usable. And so, yeah, like usually all the surveys sort of like fall short by like 1 or 2 people. So if we can get everyone to do it, that would be good. Also, it's like when I look at the data, it's all anonymous. Actually, I'll pull up. Can I actually pull up some of my old surveys? I'll show you what the teachers see. I wonder if I'm allowed to show you this.
Nicole was showing us during her class loss a couple days ago. So
Huh?
Nicole was like showing her ones, so I
Okay,
think
good.
it's all right.
Okay, if Nicole's doing it, I'm fine. Teaching staff gateway. Like, I'm not going to show you what you're saying because I don't get that until the end. But I can show you what other people have said in the. Oh, it's this guy. Am I logged in?
Hey Andrew.
Yeah.
I also found that like during assignment 2, like me and Paolo sort of had like slightly different like aims and like what we were trying to do. Like there was no like sort of set thing for that, right? We're both just going to be marked on what we got in.
Yeah.
There wasn't some like set.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
awesome.
look. Like design is very fluid. Like I could go into an architectural design studio and say here you have to design a cellar door. So that's like it's like a wine tasting building. And someone could set out to do like a design that disappears into the landscape so that doesn't actually seem like there's anything there. And someone else could be like, oh, I want to celebrate like wine barrels or like the horticultural history of wine in an area. And those two goals are very different. And those two students are going to get marked on like their thought processes and the way they approach their design ideas and the way that they approached those ideas with the outcomes and stuff like that. You just can't. We have to judge people based on what they set out to do and their thought process there as well. It can't just be, okay, this is a good design. Or at least I believe I can't do that. I don't know if other people do that. 2017. Yeah, that's long enough away that it won't matter. Yeah, so you guys have seen this type of thing. This is what I get. So like of the questions, I kind of just get like all the answers, like as a score, and then just be careful with these the comments because it's very like because there's only like 20 of you. and you want to be anonymous, sometimes it can be very easy for me to work out who's writing what. So, so that's probably the one thing that that is a negative with such a small course size. So yeah, if you want to be anonymous, just try and be as androgynous and characterless as possible with those comments, or otherwise I'll be like, Josh, what did you say about me? Huh? No, okay. So, Leo's. It seems like Leo's is that's not the right. That's a different Leo. So Leo's probably too sick to make it, I think. Oh no, he's probably going to turn up in a minute, I imagine. What did I get last year? Because last year was COVID. COVID would have affected all these marks. Oh no. Got all this. Yeah.
The graph of the once again.
Pardon?
Just the comment.
No, it's like I go too fast. Yeah, well, I know I go too fast sometimes, especially when there's like online students. It's very hard to know what people are doing.
They just don't see that. Yeah, they're just like, okay, I'll just watch the lecture and walk there.
What are we doing? We're waiting for Leo. I'll give him a few minutes. Otherwise, otherwise there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 students. So if it's just me for 4 hours, that's 12. That's 3. That's 3 students for. That's 20 minutes per student. Okay. Oh well, let's get started. Who wants to talk about what they're doing first? It means you can literally you can go do
Yeah,
whatever
I'll go.
you can do whatever you want for the rest of the day.
I'm happy to go.
Okay.
I've just been working on. Have you seen the like rectangle thing in my assignment too? Just like the building shape.
Do you want to share your screen?
Yeah, sure. Should I just open the like outputs for A2 or?
Yep. But as well, like yeah, just so you're better off talking to an image than just talking.
Yeah. I'll get the random out. 1 minute.
Man, I got back to Sydney and my hay fever just went like insane.
The first 2 weeks I was so good, just having a bloody nose and having this like patch underneath. Well, even when I was
Also, I saw how weak the New South Wales like COVID border protections are. So when we flew to Adelaide has like all these desks set up in the airport, and they like you have to go up to one of them, and they sort of almost like interview like a passport officer might, like where you've been, just double checking that you're okay. And we turn up in Sydney, and it's literally like, oh, okay, welcome to the state. Go spread COVID, please. Like they could just add like what at least a point of contact to be like, oh yeah, have you been overseas the last 14 days and stuff like that. I know people can lie, but
Okay, I think you guys can see this.
yep.
Okay, so I've just been playing here with like facade stuff. This is just some baked stuff from the Revit model. I'm just not opening Revit because sometimes it can be slow if I'm just walking in Grasshopper.
Just one thing, sorry. Is everyone
Mhm.
is everyone okay with me stopping the recording now? Or do you want me to record this as well?
I have no issue with people seeing this later, but I don't know about others.
I'm not really too fast.
Okay, I'll just keep recording then. I guess when we're talking, if you guys don't want me to record it, just let me know and I'll write your name down and edit it out of the video before I post it.
So I started using like the faces to make like the mullions and transoms, like you said, but I sort of like integrated like the surfaces as well, and made it so that it wasn't working because on the zeros of I was trying to do these ISO curves.
Yeah.
But if I give it like a 0, 0, 0, it wouldn't make the edge if the edge was cut off here when I used
when it's trimmed.
Yeah, when I use the actual surface.
Yeah.
This one.
Yeah, because it's trimmed.
Yeah, so I did it on this one and then projected them back on, and it worked.
Yeah, that's exactly how I would do it. So
Okay, great.
The surface itself, like you've got a clean surface, four-sided surface. That's the best surface to use to do this type of panelization. But then when you've got a the only thing I would say is a little bit cheaty is that I would probably deal with each floor level as its own surface, and that would then clean, because here look at what you've got.
Yeah. So that's why my new one now I've moved back to rebuild it, because I spoke with Leo and he said like I should have like connection points along the floors, and they should more be like a module, right? That is like fitted.
Yep.
So it's like, so make a module and then have the module populate the building instead of something like this.
Well, if you look at that transom, like the first floor transom, you kind of want, or the next one up.
Oh yeah. Like it
That
something should be here.
Yeah, you kind of want that lined up with the with the floor slab. One thing I will point out though, so this floor slab, sometimes like, you remember how we looked inside the ceiling at uni?
Yeah.
So ceilings are usually a lot thicker than a floor slab. So sometimes you'll have, exactly. Sometimes you'll have like a ceiling that comes down and your facade kind of will be revealing the ceiling, but then also occasionally what we can do is we can have that ceiling come up and you just have that very thin facade, slab edge touching the facade, and so your transom, if you just line that up with the top of the floor slab, that kind of does the job for you. Otherwise, you're going to have.
And so the big boys should be there if there is any.
I don't think you actually need little boys. I don't think you need big boys.
Oh, because it's all. Whoops.
Your big boy is the slab.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, so I should try and make it so that it's 2.4, right? And then some other shape that can be cut.
Look, yeah, so I would go, depending on the appearance. Let's say I was working on this design, and I was told you can't go above 2.4. But we have a scenario like this where the ceiling, like the floor to floor slab, is more than 2.4. I would run through, well, what's better? Is it better to have the transom at 50%? So we have like between each floor slab. So there's 2 panels that go between each floor level. The thing is,
No, in this case.
well,
That'll be at eye level, right?
yeah. So if you do that, is the transom then at eye level? Because then that's really bad.
Yeah.
So what you then might do is say, okay, if it is, then are we better off? Does it look better if we go to, let's say, 2.4 or 2 or whatever, a number, and you have like a disjointed system where there's
So either at
like
the
a large
bottom
panel, then a small
or the
one.
top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you're right. Yeah, we could put the transom at stomach level, and then have the 2.4 meters go from like that stomach level up to the top. Or if we want it to be like a uniform, balanced facade that every panel is the same, then I might divide it by 3 instead of divided by 4. I mean, by 2.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was going to work on making
There's so many
the plate.
options there.
Yeah, to go on from that as well. So like at the moment with the script we did, obviously it's all moving out of like the origin.
Yep.
And out this way, which is fine for some things, but should it be cutting in?
I would.
Or sitting outside? Like what, like say instead of coming out of this edge, it was coming out here like this. What happens at this corner? Is there just some bridge post or something, or?
Well, there's a corner. You would design a corner.
Okay.
So, look, architects regularly talk about details. So basically, a detail should exist for every point at which a material changes. So be it changing direction or changing like material. So we have details that show where glass meets the aluminium frame. And we also have we'll have a detail to work out how to deal with that corner. So if you want that corner to be a solid post that runs down, then and it's not a 90-degree angle, then we have to draw some kind of corner piece that finishes that up. One thing that I will mention though is most of you guys, you designed your floor slabs to go to the very boundary of your building. And so you might need to offset them in now to have your facade actually work.
Yeah.
Because your facade's actually extending out over the boundary of your site.
I also forgot about something that's been a bug since we started, which I don't know if it's, so if we, so you know how we sliced the, scaled them up. You know how we sliced
your floor, your mass, yeah?
Yeah, even though we've done it at, like all our shapes seem to be pretty good, but there's actually like they don't line up.
That's fine.
But for lofting purposes and straight surfaces, like it's caused.
Right.
Is
Okay, I
that
get it.
so? I've
So hang
for
on.
like
What's the way that you generated the mass?
the mass was how we did it in the first couple classes,
So
right?
it's with a loft, right?
Yeah.
So look, if you what that means is for this particular exercise, you might need to draw you might need to
Yeah.
draw your boxes and extrude them.
Yeah, that I just drew it from the base curve, and then I made another curve that was
Yep.
the base curve minus the 5 for the you know,
Yep.
these ones.
Yeah, I generally
So it's not going to be exactly
Look,
perfect then, right? But
the thing is, what you've actually drawn in that first part of the script is the envelope, the maximum envelope mass, right? That's how much you can put in the site. The thing is, or at least that's what you can build up to. What I will generally do is I will not use that mass to design my building. I will use it to design my building within. So we very rarely use that geometry further on. We start again and set things out.
Okay.
So we'll set out our grid.
So I should clean this then, like
so
fix it and make a clean version.
Who's to say that your building won't be square, right? It could have a curved edge to a corner. You want to have control over that with your script. So, this is genuinely a way that some architects work, though. They work out the maximum that a building can be, and they just push it to the edge. That's how we end up with those mediocre buildings in the city. They're just following those rules. But look, those things can be designed without a designer almost. So, I would clean it up a bit and give yourself a few more options. For example, you could fill it the edge of your mass and then have your facade wrap around, and that solves your detail problem on those corners.
Okay. So I should clean that up, and then make my, because from the start I was kind of setting out to make it so it would be kind of like cheap materials wise if it is just like a big box, right? So I was going to make like units that then could be used for
like
every
like a modular system.
Yeah.
Look, just be careful with that because a modular system is a can of worms.
Okay.
You can talk about it being prefabricated.
Well, I don't really care. That's just what I thought would be.
Don't say modular.
Yeah.
Say prefabricated.
Okay.
So the idea of that is, almost everything that's being built will be. You'll try and build it in a factory somewhere, and take it to site.
Yeah.
And then install it.
Because it's cheaper than building on site.
It's not cheaper than building on site.
Really?
It can and it can't. It can and it can't be. So there are things that just can't be built on site. So like concrete that can't be made with formwork, and it needs to be at a high quality. It gets made in a workshop somewhere, and they have machines that vibrate it, and they have machines that acid etch it, and it's just not something that can be done on site. So there are design things that just are forced there. There are construction decisions that are forced there. But with a curtain facade system, if you prefabricate that, that might actually, I think, it might cost more than having the kit of parts for a curtain facade turn up on site, and you just have a bunch of guys kicking it into place and installing it, kicking it into place, installing, kicking. So
Mhm.
if you had something where there were bespoke pieces, like you had a different sized rectangular glass piece in every point, and there was some sort of like design element that ran through and it was very complicated, then yes, I would say it would be cheaper to build prefabricated than build on site. Because on site you have to coordinate everything and there's all these people everywhere and you've got to get that specific piece in a specific spot. Workshop is a far more controlled environment there. But with a look, if
No, I'm not set on it or
yeah, okay,
anything.
I'm just saying if the reason why you're choosing to do it is because it's cheap, don't do that. Do it because you're saying that you want to reduce waste. Or do it because you want to do it because you want to reduce carbon emissions. Because of the workshop being a controlled environment, we can make it we can recycle the waste. So any glass that gets cut off, it doesn't get chucked in the general waste bin on site. It gets put in the glass bin on site, returned to the glass smelter, and gets turned back into glass. It doesn't go to the tip. So there's reasons why you would do it, but then I would say for this type of facade, not for cost.
Okay.
Cool.
So probably
Hey.
just work on like a common system across floors that's maybe some amount wide.
Yep. Look,
So
I would say
I know I spoke to Leo and he said maybe like either one or the other is like the full length, and then there's kind of like smaller pieces.
I'd also say, look, at the moment it's looking quite simple.
Mm-hmm.
So
this is only the interior skin, and then there's exterior.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Excellent.
Cool.
Hey
Okay.
Leo, how you doing?
Pretty good. Thanks for checking in.
Are you able to make your own like video conference meeting?
I think it will be on the free version, and the merciful Zoom will just extend your time for a bit.
Do you want me to see if I can make another one?
Okay. What's the problem with this one?
Well, I'd like you to talk to students individually and me to talk to students individually.
Okay, to go through their assignment?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. For the students who wants to talk to me, we can just do Zoom instead. Does it?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Sounds
You make
alright.
a Zoom. Can you do a Zoom
Oh.
meeting?
Yeah. Sorry, I just yeah. I mean Teams, if that's all right,
Oh yeah,
because
no,
I believe
use
that.
whatever.
Yeah.
So if you've got like a meeting, if you make a Teams meeting, just if there's like an invite link, just post it to the code.
Yep.
The Slack channel or whatever, and then everyone will get a chance to talk to me and Leo.
Yep.
And so like we can just cycle through. So if you guys sit in either, you can mute one, or as you're talking to me, you can listen to whoever.
Sounds good. So sorry for being a little bit late. So today's purpose is just
Don't worry about it.
trying to consultate on the facade modulation process.
Yep.
And-
And also, look, also if you guys want to talk about, if you want to ask us about the presentation, so Leo, just because you missed it, week 12, there's a 7-minute presentation with 7 to 8 minutes of feedback per student. I've suggested the students aim for 2 slides per minute, so 14 slides, and they'll be presenting their full term's work. So the massing, the structure, the urban planning side of things, all the way through to the facade. And we've talked about the idea of telling a story, like an intro hook and maybe a brief conclusion with the meat of your presentation, and make sure you've proven you met your goals. Always feel like you can use post rationalization because it's a useful tool to seem like you're doing a better job. And you and I need to be a simulation of as if they were presenting to either a client or an employer, like as if we were doing a portfolio presentation with a job interview. So don't act as if we are your friends. Act as if we're trying to decide whether or not you're going to be employed.
By the way, I have a colleague, senior architect director,
Yeah.
been interested in joining any critic we're having. So, do you think you'll add too much stress on that, or?
Yeah, I do.
So don't worry.
I do.
Don't worry.
The thing is, there's one of the things I really don't like about guest critics is they have no idea like what the like what the
Exactly.
actual coursework was.
Yeah.
So they'll be like, "Why did you
Oh.
do this?" And it's like,
Yeah.
well, the course coordinator wanted us to do it this way. No, this is awful. And then they just waste like all the like maybe if there's someone I know and we can talk to them first, but yeah, I'd rather not do it.
Don't worry then. Yeah,
Sorry.
I think you're right that we definitely need some time to prepare if that's the case. So for the facade, I just saw your for assignment description.
Yeah.
And is there any other objectives you have described to the students that I should be aware of?
Well, so we just need the Grasshopper files and the Rhino files submitted as well, along with the presentation. And then obviously what we've covered. So we care about the like actually designing an interesting facade, and we also want to see some at least ladybug analysis associated with that facade.
And we also care about the quality of the code, don't we?
Yeah, like always, we always care about the quality of the code. This assignment is probably the most interesting out of the three, because facades are usually the most interesting thing to do.
Agree.
You can be a little bit more creative with the facade, whilst floor slabs, it's like, oh, look at my floor slab. Doesn't work.
Just
So obviously, yeah, you'll be rewarded for exploring things and pushing your skill limit. So definitely do that.
Okay, so I'm copying and pasting a meeting invitation in the Slack right now for Zoom, unfortunately, because Teams
That's
is a
good.
little bit stupid.
It's all good.
So yeah, so I'll leave the meeting room now, and maybe tell me if there's a sequence or people just comes in.
If you guys should be able to coordinate, right? Just stay, like, if you stay in both these meetings, then I'll if you put your hand up in this meeting to say I'm focusing on the other meeting, and vice versa, then I'll know who to pick on for the next thing. So look, just to make this easy, just because this is the second half of my list, Emilio, Jianlun Fu, Guilin He, Gary Zhang, Ziliu Zhang, and Joshua Song, just because you're at the bottom of my list. If you guys focus on Leo's thing to begin with, and I'm going to talk to the other Leo Wu or Yuki.
See you guys on the other side.
So see you soon. Tom as well. You should go.
Yeah, I'll head off. Thank you for your help.
No problem.
See you soon.
Yuki, are you there? Okay. Owen?
Wait a second.
Oh, people literally left. You didn't have to leave.
Totally slow.
This has probably been the most relaxing course that I've run. Like, as in, it's not been super. Maybe it's because there's less students. I know most of you from like the first course that I run. Otherwise, the first course I usually run for students. I've got to like do so much more work. Yeah, that's fine. Then it's Paolo. How many fire stairs? How many fire, like, if this is a single fire stair, you need at least 2. Do you remember the analysis that we did?
Yeah, I did.
So that'll tell you if you need more. Yeah? Because you can't be you can't be 40 meters away from a fire stair. Paolo, are you there?
Yeah, sorry, I was just in Leo's call.
Oh, okay. Are you talking to Leo right now?
Not right now, but I was just gonna ask. I can ask you. I just wanted to like have a rundown of. I haven't really started. I know I think a lot of other people haven't. But yeah, I just wanted a rundown of like. I know we already went through like the information of like the presentation, but like how much of it is split up between like presenting the facade and versus the like what we're doing in the presentation. So are we submitting? We're submitting the grasshopper and rhino on the day,
Yep.
and then the presentation will include like a PDF format, but then we actually just present it,
Yep.
including all the other things. Yeah.
Yep. Look, what you'll find is when you present a building, the facade doesn't take much effort to talk about.
Mhm.
So, because it's about looking at it, and sort of maybe saying here's the idea. It's not like you have to be like, okay, I'm trying to achieve this much FSR or whatever. It's just basically, does it look good, and does it meet the requirements of solar and whatever.
Yeah.
And generally you can rely on your pretty pictures to show how cool the facade is, right? The facade's going to show up in a lot of your imagery, right? So unless you've gone like bull out of a gate with this facade and you're trying to do something really interesting with it, just assign equal value to the term for the presentation.
Mhm.
And also weight it based on the stuff that you think you've done the best.
Okay. Yeah, because like at the start when I showed you that picture of that like crazy looking one, I was thinking
Which
like
one?
start a whole new the one that looks like a Voronoi mesh, the one that's like over the top.
Yep.
I was thinking about doing that, but I don't know if it's a bit like overkill. And then I just realized that I should probably put that on my own building. I think my own building is better suited to just like probably one of the more simpler ones. I really like that one where you use the picture. I think that one really like kind of struck me
Like
as
turning
well.
off on and off stuff and stuff like that, you mean?
Yeah. Because
But you can use that
I
to
can.
you could do that on your Voronoi thing.
Yeah. Well, the Voronoi itself, I think that's already a challenge in its own.
By the way, that
Um,
that facade wasn't two-dimensional Voronoi. It was actually something else.
mhm. Oh, wait, I'm just saying it looked like one, but
Yeah,
I think the way I would approach that is you were mentioning like you create like a mesh based on points or something, or like it would be. I was thinking like a smooth one, but you could even just go straight to like generating a mesh, and that's already in triangle shapes or something, and that would kind of give that like impression. Although I'm looking here at the picture and it's got more. They've got shapes that have more than three sides, basically.
Look, there is okay. I'll show you a quick way that you could achieve it.
Mhm.
I'm not sure this is how they did it, but this is like a cheat's way of getting what they did. Once you start learning Grasshopper deeper and deeper, you start seeing sort of like these fancy building designs internationally, and you're like, they just did a loft. Interesting. Cool. And everyone's like, oh my god, this is so cool. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the way Voronoi works in 2D can also be applied to 3D space. So instead of a line being drawn between 2 points and then a perpendicular line drawn between those two, you can draw a perpendicular plane with a surface on it. So, for example, if I have a random set of points.
Is it alright if we can turn on bifocals?
Yes, of course. I do not have a problem with that. So here's a random set of points. Actually, I'll just make this a bit fatter.
Also, yeah, the reason I brought up like if I was going to do this on my own building, it would kind of have to like because when we were evaluating the how it was put on, it's like kind of like on the outside shell, so like there's no actual walls on the outside. It's just kind of they slapped on that.
You're gonna have to create like a glazed skin.
Yeah.
And then have this extra skin sitting on top of that.
Yeah.
Look, and what you'll find is that's going to actually eat into your building, right? Because you can't draw your facade out here if your boundary
that's
line
true.
is here.
I would have to, yeah.
And so, well, this is the thing. So you're going to have to probably actually rejig your building to deal with that facade design. And my statement to that is the industry. Like we have to do that all the time. So
I mean, it just seems like a trim to me, but you're like sometimes it just doesn't like to work.
no, but your FSR will shrink.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Okay, so the way Voronoi normally works, like in 2D, is very quickly, just to explain it, if you draw a line between each neighboring point, and you then draw a perpendicular line through the middle of that, where these collide with each other ends up making the cell. So okay, so the midpoint's like over there, but you can see that mid perpendicular line and that mid perpendicular line, they collide there, and that makes these Voronoi cells. And the more
Oh, okay.
the more I make, you know, the finer grain they get. But you can see that Delaney, like the Delaney system, is basically showing you the inverse of the Voronoi.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I can see that.
So in 3D, if instead of drawing a line, you draw a plane, then you end up with these like planar geometries.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can see we're already getting, like, you can see, because we can see through this, we can see it all broken up. But if I increase the number of points in that system, and then I increase it again, and I increase it again, let's just go to 100. Now we've got like a box just full of these Voronoi cells. And the ones we care about are the ones like on the facade edge, right?
Uh-huh.
So we could say, okay, grab the centroid of the geometry. So that's the 3D center. Make that, like, find the closest point with to the region that we've set that to. So let me just hide all of this and show you the centers. So there's all the centers.
So would I like apply like my B-rep shell of like my building?
Yeah, you could do that. Yep.
Okay.
So then, like, if I'll just draw a line between them. So here they are. They're just going to the closest thing that they can get to, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in this case, actually, I'm just gonna explode the region and get rid of the top and the bottom. Which must be 4 and 5. Yeah. I'll join that because this thing only works on like a single BRAT. Otherwise, it'll duplicate everything. So now it's not going up or down; it's just going left, like in the XY plane. And then, if these lines collide with a certain number of faces, then we can ignore them, or they don't collide with a certain number. So if we take these Voronoi systems and we just turn them into a mesh, here, and we join them as a single object, so that's just making like just a complete mess, rat's nest mesh like this. And we intersect our line with that. Now, how do we do that? Because if we do it with a ray, I think does it give us more than one? Let's find out. So if I just pick one of these points, and we turn this line into a vector instead of a line. And we project that through our mesh. Let's pick a different point. Let's get the one. Let's just draw one in the center. See how that's just giving us 1 point? That's not going to work.
Yeah.
So what we want is, we don't want to join it. We want it as multiple meshes. And then for every point, we'll need to graft. But this is still only giving us 1 point. What is that? 2 points. One, two. Okay. One last thing. We'll just include the boundary. So there's the boundary. We want that as a mesh. And here's the system. Those are the meshes we want to collide with. How many we're getting from the center? Still only getting 1? 7277, 7277, 7277. Nope, that's not good. Okay, rather than doing the mesh one, we'll use B-reps. Here's a B-rep. There's a B-rep. And if we find the line intersections with those B-reps, curve B-rep. There's the curve. There's the B-reps, and we're going to get hopefully more than what? Okay, cool. Yeah, we're getting more than one intersection now. Cool. There's 2. There's the point we start with. So what that means is, if I use more than 1 point, and like all these vectors, if we just graft them, oh, we don't need the vectors, sorry. The lines. Where are they? If we graft the lines, and the lines are coming from our center system there, some of these lines are only going to have one intersection, which will be they'll be on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
So if I count,
That's outside of the box, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if I count these, we're getting, no, sorry, if they've got 2. So that means they're intersecting with the Voronoi, and they're also intersecting with the box, because the Voronoi is touching the box.
Mm-hmm.
So that, as long as they're 2 or smaller, we could get rid of them. So if x is smaller than 2, oh sorry, smaller than or equal to 2, these are the outside like Voronoi cells,
Okay.
and these are the ones that are inside.
That was pretty cool on its own.
Yeah. So then if I, increase this, the resolution will get higher.
It's gonna get smaller, right?
Huh?
Yeah, it's gonna get smaller.
So they get finer. And then if you've got, like, we've got this 94 Voronoi cells, we can just union them. This is a rather brute force way of solving this problem.
Yeah.
What's this? Boolean set is empty. Okay, well, screw you. Do you need to talk to me?
No, I think I was assignment 2.
Okay, cool. Yep.
I think I did that done by the weekend.
Yep.
And then I'll start working as soon as possible.
Cool. So Paolo.
Yeah.
This union's just being the union's being a dick, but you could, in theory, just do this in a line, and squish it. Like, you can see this is quite 3D, right?
Yeah.
Like, we can scale this. See, dude.
All right. Yeah.
Graduation pitch.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's the next part.
Well, I'll see you at the presentation for this as well.
Probably just gonna have to record the
Okay.
worksheet.
Okay. So see how, like, by scaling it, we're effectively controlling the like the strength of that feeling. It's not like they're no longer one by one. They're now, like, squished.
Yeah.
So you can start playing with that, and let's just make it. Like, that looks similar to what they did, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
So yeah, that's one way I would do it. Looks really cool.
Okay. And then, like, the box that you're using would that would be like which side I would put it on, basically, and I'd kind of make it. I'd make like each. Yeah.
You could take this and then, like, if you made a line of this, like you made it a long line, you could potentially, like, wrap it around your building, or you could use your building as the Voronoi maths. So there's like 100 different ways you could do this.
Also, my building has an offset, so should I just, like, do it on both, like, levels?
I would look. It's up to you how you want to do it.
Okay. All right.
If it doesn't work, submit it. Submit the script, but do what you need to do to get it.
Yeah.
To be good.
Yeah, I'll probably give it a go, because just, like, looking at this seems pretty interesting.
Yeah. Especially, like, if this is glass, it'll give, like, I know people don't move past buildings the same way that we do when we're looking at them on a computer, but it'll, like, glitter, it'll twinkle like a gem. No, you get that. Yeah. Cool. Okay, cool. Is that all you need?
Yeah, I think that'd be a good start for me.
Okay, cool. Let's move on to Jianlun.
I think Owen in the chat said he has some issue with his mic and he'd want to go after me, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, that was from before.
Oh, okay. Oops.
I'm just giving him I'll do him after Yutong. Oh, jeez, I can't say their name properly. Are you still going to use Paolo? Are you still going to use Gary's mod to render this?
I mean, there's enough time. Sure, why not?
Sure.
It's just like it's a bit of an effort, like porting it over.
Yeah.
Because I have to run it through Blender and all that other stuff.
Well, that's no different to like doing a render out of Blender.
Yeah, but then I was thinking, so I don't know if you've seen for A2, just to assignment 2, I just did like a quick render with just windows and stuff, so it just looks pretty. But that was just on Revit, just because it was really easy to I kind of just try to get the most out of the default textures.
Yeah. Look,
So,
Revit's obviously got a rendering engine.
yeah.
But I've never seen anyone use it professionally. But that doesn't mean you can't use it.
Yeah, and I just photoshopped it onto a image over there.
Yeah. I hate Moodle. Assessment. Assignment 2. It's been a while since I've seen a RAR.
Oh, what? Sorry?
A RAR file. It's been a while since
Right.
I've seen
All right.
a RAR file. Because I've been ever since I've been working at Cox, they just purchased WinZip.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I used to be a RAR guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Why pay for it?
Well, to be honest, I remember in high school I found a key for it, so I don't get the pop-ups either.
Oh yeah, but the pop-up's literally like, hey, the trial version's over, and you're like, just go away. And it's like, okay,
Yeah.
bye.
But it's I think it's just the goodwill of if a company's gonna get it, of course they're gonna buy it.
Yeah, of
just
course.
it's a bad look, yeah.
Maybe I should. The thing is, okay. So you're talking about these sort of white renders.
No. There's the one that's the actual photorealistic one.
Oh yeah, dude, that's really good.
Really quickly slapped it together.
Dude, that's
yeah.
It's that's definitely a good job, man. It looks like with it, other than maybe just putting a little if we put furniture and some lights in this building.
Yeah, that was before I did the walls and stuff, just because it was just from an outside view.
But if we put actual make it look like there's actually stuff happening inside a little bit, this could be any sort of small architecture firm that's working with a developer. This is good enough work for them to get by.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's if you put this work in your portfolio, you're probably setting yourself up to getting like 70% of the jobs out there, like for grads. So it's good. It's that, and it's with Revit.
Yeah, I was just, I mean, there's only like 2 materials there, but as long as it's got glass, you know, like metal and stuff, and basically does the job. Like I see it. But yeah, I think if I had more time, I would have liked to have like made the environment in like Gmod or something. But yeah, I have to. I'm planning to move to Unreal probably over the holidays or something. And that's why I was asking you about like with Grasshopper, does it have like a benefit with like a better CPU? Because I'm thinking about getting a 3700X just to like for rendering and stuff.
Yeah, look, as I've said before, you're probably like there's no such thing as the best computer for someone using Grasshopper and also doing renders. So just get a good rendering machine.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it should be able to do Grasshopper fine.
Yeah. Like Grasshopper is just like I think I've already accepted how slow it is. It's more like if I'm rendering like these big scenes and stuff, I don't want it to be like too slow.
Yeah.
Basically, because like my CPU right now is even struggling with like two windows open and trying to work on multiple things at once. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think I'll see how I'm gonna visualize this with the facades.
Well,
But yeah, I was thinking.
dude, the facade's going to change this building. It's going to turn it from like a developer kind of D grade building to a like architect's A grade building.
Yeah.
So,
just like one design change.
Yeah, just adding a better facade on it.
Yeah.
Is there anyone there?
I think everyone went to Leo's call.
Okay, I'll go over there and steal someone.
All right.
Or should we just let Leo?
Owen's here.
Huh?
Owen said he's here.
Oh, Owen.
And you can hear me now?
Yeah, I can.
Oh, great. So I haven't really started it, but I'm thinking, cause like my assessment to my building was like have like 2 different sizes. So I'm thinking, is it possible if I do like 2 types of facade? Like,
of course.
Yeah.
Yep,
if I have, yeah.
Dude, you can do 100 different types of facade.
Yeah.
I don't care as long as you don't do 0.
Okay. So yeah, I'm thinking like do this kind of thing like down here. Then the one like I put in class last week.
Do you remember
like,
doing waffles last
year? Yeah.
It's
kinda.
It's as simple as that. You create a shape, and you waffle it, and you're done.
Wow. Then should I do something more challenging?
Well, yeah. So.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Think about it like this: when you do that, you are then going to have an issue.
Yeah.
Well, your shape is going to have solar implications. There are going to be some areas that get more sunlight because it's coming in, and some areas that don't. And you could potentially do a waffle that isn't straight.
And
do you know what I mean there?
Yeah. Like the panels, like they are like rotated a little bit.
Is there annotate? There we go. So you see these These are
Yep.
actually just straight lines, right?
Yeah.
Cutting through a shape. But you could do something that does that. Like there's a lot of creativity that you can put into this. It doesn't have to be as simple as just a
Yeah.
simple waffle.
Cool.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then also for the like those higher floors, I guess I just like kind of like this, do something like this.
Oh
Like
yep.
that one.
Yeah, if anything, yeah, it's probably the right thing to do, because like you can see here, they kind of just don't know what, like it's hard to work out what to do with this type of thing.
Yeah.
But when you've got a building that looks like this, right?
Yep.
You know, this perspective view. You can't see this part
Mm-hmm.
from the ground, and so that's where you can have that like messy bit. They've covered it up with a balustrade, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You can cover it up with the podium of your building.
Cool. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. I think I just probably do a draft version first, then I add in more creative stuff
Yeah,
later.
no, always.
Yeah.
This is the thing. You should be starting these ideas now, so that because if they don't work, then you can make a quick decision and move them or advance them and stuff like that.
Yeah. Cool.
Like for example, with Paolo, he's like, I don't know how to do it. How do I do it? Well, you can just start. Like, why not just get started and see? And if it looks okay, then you know that you can look at refining that instead of maybe trying a different direction.
Also, I haven't received my mark for assessment 1 yet.
Yeah. I was manually sending that out to everyone.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
I will. The reason is I don't want to. My screen's currently recording.
Okay, yeah.
So if I go pull your mark up, then people are going to be able to go see your mark in the recording. So I'll send it maybe when we have a break.
Yeah, sure. Cause I'm just wondering, cause in the group chat, like Emilio said he received it. I was like, what? I have nothing.
Hang on. I'll just
Andrew, you can blur the screen on OBS.
Let me just what's the shortcut for blurring?
Well, if you go to OBS, like if you just click on it, there's an eye symbol next to the screen
Yeah,
capture.
just hide it. Okay, I'm hiding it right now.
Yeah.
Everyone's blind. What's your Z number?
5313806.
Yeah, got it. Owen. Look. Paolo, you got your mark, right?
Yeah, I got mine.
Thank you, Andrew.
No problem. I think everyone would be. I think you guys were a little bit worried about that mark, weren't you?
Yeah.
I thought I didn't put
Wow.
I mean, I guess I mean, I don't know. I feel like I was following this the tutorial a lot, but back then that was like it was mostly just that, I guess.
You're doing okay. Look,
All right.
I don't. I'm harsh. I'm harsh when it comes to giving you guys stuff to do. If that makes sense. I make hard assignments. Like these assignments have been hard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then I know that they're hard. Okay, think of it like this. If I set you guys a spelling test, and I made everything. Have I said this already? And I made everything
No.
like, hey, spell cat and dog and bat. Like everyone would just get 100% on that test, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it wouldn't tell me anything about what you know about spelling. The same applies with these assignments. Like I try and set challenging assignments where you guys have to have critical approaches to it, and so it shows me more about what you're learning than if I were to make the assignments easy. But then what I do is I weight the marking based on what you've shown me.
Yeah. Because I felt like I put most of my effort there was just put on the diagrams and stuff.
Yeah, I definitely saw that, but that was also, they were very good. And you did do stuff in that scripting that was exploring different techniques, right?
Maybe I wouldn't remember actually.
And I knew that you were using a game engine to actually do the rendering, which requires quite a lot of work that you didn't show me, but I know how much work that's required. So that's kind of where that mark comes from.
If I hadn't told you, I wouldn't get the same mark essentially.
Yes.
Fair enough.
Do you see, do you understand? Like, if you don't show me what you're doing, then I can only mark you on what I can see.
Yeah.
So
it makes sense.
You've revealed to me and I know what it's like trying to get stuff into the source engine.
Mm-hmm.
I've tried it myself. It's annoying and it's hard, and you have to, you've used Blender. You've gone and used other tools other than Rhino to get an outcome, and that's.
See, I thought you would just mark based on what we've done, or like exploring Grasshopper and Rhino specifically.
No, I don't. I am a holistic designer, and so should you be. You should be using all the tools at your disposal. Fortunately, I know most of those tools.
Yeah, that's good.
Blender, if you try and do some renders out of Blender, that's a really good tool to learn. I don't actually know Blender that well.
I've explored a bit, but I still want to there's a tutorial on YouTube where this guy just goes over the essentials, and I plan to do that.
Yeah, the one benefit is you can, if you go into a company and they've decided that they're going to use Maya to do their renders, then you have to learn Maya.
Yeah.
But I know 3ds Max really well, but the thing is that it's a licensed program. But if you know Blender, then you can just be like, hey, the tool that I use is called Blender. It's free. Can I get it installed so I can do the work that I'm used to? And they'll be like, yeah, whatever. It doesn't cost anything. Sure.
Oh yeah. I don't think they'd give the same reaction with Gary's mod on that.
Oh yeah, no, they wouldn't react to Garrett. Yeah, Garrett. What I'm getting at is, don't continue using Gary's mod to do your renders.
Yeah, that's why I said I wanted to move to Unreal, like you were mentioning.
Yeah, well, Unreal's also free.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that.
I think it's just assets and stuff that's the part where it's difficult. But then again, we're creating like half the scene anyways.
It's not only that, it's also like with V-Ray,
Yep.
you can achieve very good ray tracing results. So you can have realistic refraction and realistic reflections.
Does Cox use that?
V-Ray, yeah.
Is that the like main one?
Well, in Sydney, they seem to be moving towards this program called Corona.
I've heard of that, yeah.
Which has a unfortunate name at the moment.
Yeah.
I haven't used it, but the 3D team has. I know how to use V-Ray in 3ds Max, and like if I had to use it in Rhino, I could as well. Like it's actually, is it even in my Rhino? It doesn't look like it. It's not installed.
Also, when's the quiz open? Like,
the quiz is open right up until the final assignment.
the final, okay.
I'll keep it open until the day that I submit the marks, but I don't know what that day will be. But I'll go check it and put your. The thing is, as long as you've done it, I'm giving you 10%, right?
Yeah.
So, have you done it?
This is the one from week 1, and we just revisit it and fix up what we can, right?
Yeah. Basically, try and use it as a learning tool instead of as a test.
Yeah, definitely.
What am I looking at? Corona. Yeah, look, rendering, like, because all of this stuff, like V-Ray, they released all their source code, like open source, and all these other companies are sort of I think Corona's also owned by Chaos Group anyway. So I don't know what the benefit is between using V-Ray versus Corona, but it seems like it's basically a choice between like a real-time render engine and like render engines.
Which one is real time?
Huh?
Which one is real time?
Unreal, Unity, Twinmotion.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like Corona or something.
No. Although, like, so let me. I can turn this back on now. V-Ray versus Unreal. The thing is, with the game engines, you generally need to like artistically fake certain elements.
Yeah.
Which you can kind of rely on ray tracing to do in others, but like here it'd be interesting to see these like side by side.
Are you sharing a screen or?
Yeah, hang on. Boop, 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 boop.
There is. So is one of them real time or just rendered? I mean, there's probably light baking and stuff. Yeah.
This is Unreal. This must be Unreal, but it says V-Ray somewhere. Oh, they rendered. Okay. They're using V-Ray to render the textures onto the objects. Hi guys. I'm gonna pretend.
Hey guys, it's been Delon.
look, like Unreal 5's probably gonna kill everything, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So, it's probably worth learning how to use it.
Yeah, definitely.
Affordability, free. Usability, 3. Speed, 2. What are you talking about?
They're probably talking about 4 because it's in 2019.
Yeah, but what is it? So what? What?
So like it's you have to like bake the light still because like in the architectural renders they're not really real time. Like you'd have to bake the ambient lighting.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's all I know about it. Really.
No, I don't think that's what speed means.
No. Okay.
I keep having to uninstall it from my laptop because I keep running out of space. It takes up too much space. Mind you, Revit does too.
Yeah. I hate how Revit like installs onto like your main drive, like all these other like material libraries.
Yeah, it doesn't. It has to be on your C drive.
Yeah.
It's like fuck off. My C drive's only tiny, and I've got this other drive. No, fuck you. I'm gonna fill you up with crap. It's like, now that they've done like these new sort of like better water tools, so you don't have to do them yourself. It's quite cool. There's that digital twin stuff. Unreal 5 architecture. The problem is when you type this in, they actually mean.
I don't even think 5 really exists. Like they've only shown that one demo on the reveal. It's been like a year already.
Has it?
Yeah, it's like they've really shown nothing.
Can they hurry up?
That's what I wish as well.
But they're bringing out that sort of like person generator, right? As well. Is that going to be free? They've been doing all this stuff for free. I'm like,
yeah.
Ooh.
You got to thank Fortnite for that. All the funds from
12-year-olds, you mean?
Yeah. That's the Mandalorian thing.
All this shit's awesome.
Yeah.
But it doesn't bother me about that. Like that doesn't affect me at all. This thing, he's like, make a human. This is enhancing the way the architect industry uses real-time technology. Yeah. It almost looks like it was in Australia. These almost look like AFL goalposts, but it's not. There we go. Early access to MetaHuman. Like this is just crazy. They just make if this is for free.
I think there was one on Blender too that was similar. Like you could like take pictures of your face. But yeah, the fact that this is like probably like a full. Like it looks really good. I haven't seen this yet, but
this is a completely rigged, like customizable human.
Yeah.
That you can just like attach to animations and shit.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to do.
Yeah, that was one on Blender. I think it's free right now. It's like a plugin. I guess somebody made it just for like ease of access. But you can like take pictures of your face at different angles, and then it would generate like a mesh based on your features.
But I don't want my face. I want someone else's face.
Yeah.
Like, if you think about it, like this is we could just go through and just say, hey, randomize a bunch of people, and now we've got like we have infinite random people in our architectural scenes.
Yeah. And I think right now they're using, aside from like just using pictures, they're taking like photo scans of people and poses, right?
But the other thing is, like I'll do a scene in China, and like I have to kind of go and buy more like assets because we don't have enough Chinese. Or
Wait, so
Asian
you have to
people.
buy, or like, how does that work?
Yeah, like Cox has to buy a bunch of like Asian looking people.
But do you have a say in that?
What do you mean?
Like, do you get to choose like which models to choose?
Yeah. But then at the same time, like that we have to buy ones that look like they're going to a sports event.
Yeah.
Like they're not ones that are like off. Like we'll have a bunch of like East Asian office workers. And it's
Yeah.
like, okay, but they're not West Asian sports fans. And so it just like it's just a complete money sink that we like every time we have to buy, like, we have to go buy like $500 worth of people. And this thing's just look, I can get
Yeah,
some like
LEDs
super low
too.
res person.
Yeah. That's great.
Put them in. Oh yeah, and as well, they're not optimized. So they're like full high res people, right?
Yeah.
So like even though they're like a kilometer away, we're still using that full high res person. Like this is just gonna make everything amazing for us. Even though from like an architectural perspective, we don't really actually care about how the humans look.
Yeah.
But
Anything closer to like photorealism, basically.
yeah, but the thing is, like humans are an important part of architecture. Like the architecture is for humans, so like we can get all of these like real people, random people, and put them in our buildings. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, it's actually crazy. Like,
Also, if games start using this framework, then you can just have your character go from like one game to another.
yeah, that'd be amazing.
Import my like main character that I like. Yeah, look at the variability in this, man. It's crazy. I don't think any actual video game character customization has been this like good.
No, I don't think so either.
Like this chick's eyes like a little bit lower. Like see how it's not mirrored?
Yeah, yeah. I'm just like with the whole procedural aspect of it. It's just crazy.
And they're actually getting like non-white people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is also really good. Okay. You can find out more. Okay.
They need to do one with trees and stuff because I feel like you still have to purchase those
No.
like high prices.
There's
there is one, but like I don't think I've seen one to like that extent.
It's Speed Tree.
Speed tree.
We've purchased it, like it's a subscription, so we've like
Yeah.
purchased small stints with it.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, there's like the cheaper version is just for Unreal. Like the cinema version is like really expensive. But like it was because we were trying to do Unreal stuff, and all our like tree models just were killing Unreal. So it's like, oh, Speed Tree actually makes it for games.
There's like really low poly.
Well, you can, yeah, like it's trying to optimize it. And
Yeah.
It's not, like the one we don't actually care about having like a Disney quality
Yeah.
treescape. Come on.
Oh, that won't be a problem once everything merges to Unreal 5.
What do
Yeah.
you mean? Oh, you mean
Like,
as in people
poly-
use
yeah.
Unreal? I'm not sure. Like, we'll see. We'll see. I don't trust tech demos anymore.
Yeah.
But you can buy these, like you can buy these packs of trees, right?
Yeah.
So they look static, but then they're actually like design files that sit within the software. So I'll just show you. It'd be really cool to use Grasshopper with it though.
Yeah.
Because I get like anytime I see someone doing this, I'm like, I have to do manual work.
Like, would it make sense to put in Grasshopper
Yeah.
aside from just like a, you
Yeah,
know?
well, you can like randomize all this stuff and like control it using
Yeah,
like
I
logic.
guess, yeah.
Like, there's quite a lot of effort that's going into this tree, right? But that's because this is like a piece of art.
Mhm.
Like, I kind of need, like, I kind of need my trees to be randomized a little bit. So if I can just get into the speed tree thing and like throw a few random numbers in certain places, and then maybe they can do it already. I haven't
Yeah.
put that much effort into it, to be honest.
Yeah, that's really good.
Cool. Yeah, you made your tree. It's not as good as the hand-drawn one, though. They had to make it just as good. Software.
I think there's more people here now if you want to ask them.
Okay, excellent. Hello, Emilio.
Hello. Yeah, can you get to me next? My my mom's calling internet provider. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, so I'll just go next.
Gary.
Yes.
Okay. Russell? Are you there?
Hi, my Wi-Fi is just really bad.
Pardon?
Can you hear me? It's lagging a lot for me.
The video. Did you want to ask me anything or not? Both video and sound are lagging. Did you want to discuss anything? I guess it's hard to do that with the lagging video. Do you have both meetings open at the same time? Okay. Okay. Maybe it's your internet connection, man. Do you want to try sharing anyway? It might not be lagging for upload.
Hi, Andrew.
Hi, Gary.
I actually have a question. Like, I'm just wondering, like, for the facade, I asked Leo about this. But, like, I want to like I'm just wondering like for the design of the facade, like, do you want us to make like a very how to say like a massive like the dynamic facade, or like can I just go for something like simple, or like are you gonna mark up on that?
Yeah. Well, do you think making a simple facade is going to be easy?
No, it's not that because it's easy. It's just because like for my building, I don't see like if a dynamic facade or like a complicated facade can make it like looks beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but this is the thing. You can make
Complicated.
you can show off your skills
Mhm.
with a simple facade.
Like what kind of facade?
Well, you're gonna need louvers, right? Or
Mhm.
you're gonna need something to shade it, even though it's like simple and elegant.
Yeah.
You're gonna need to show us like you can code something that has some complexity there.
Okay. Wait. Sorry. Is Emilio sharing? I thought he's gonna go for it.
Not at the moment, because
Oh.
Emilio's dealing with his mum.
Okay. Yeah. I'm probably just gonna share my design first. Do you mind if I share?
Go for it.
Yeah. So yeah, I kind of like want to go for like something like Kengo Kuma's design. I'm such a fan of his.
Yeah.
Yeah, so something like that. And currently, like I'm having just some simple like curtain walls like that. But that's just like something I generated from like River before.
Yeah.
Like I'm definitely like do the like a curtain walls like after. But like what Leo says is that like if I want to make the like a double layered like a facade, then if I want to go for like something quite similar to like something like the Kengo Kuma's one,
Yeah.
then I probably like he said that I shouldn't like do like two layers of like the vertical facades, vertical louvers. Otherwise, like you can't like distinguish like whether that's the first layers or the second layers. But I'm like, how can you like make the horizontal uh, curtain wall facade like without a vertical mullions being like as the structure kind of thing?
You can. Well, basically your your mullions can be light. It's like they can be thin and light, and they effectively just disappear. You could even make your mullions out of glass, so that they just disappear,
Yeah.
and then that helps contrast with the horizontal element of the facade.
Mhm.
But like if you go back to the Kengakuma images,
Yeah.
like you can see there's this strong black soffit to the or louver or whatever eave that comes out,
Yeah.
and then the vertical elements are timber, and then you've got your glass element, and so those black sections, just by them being black, they end up becoming a stronger design element from a
Yeah.
distance versus the vertical ones.
Mhm.
But you're still getting like a play on those vertical ones, like on the top second to top floor. I can see there's like two close together, then one, then two, then two, then one, then one, then one, then one, then three. So and then on the floor below, he's got sort of like five close together. So he's playing around with the texture of how that facade looks by playing around with like the patterning of those louvers
Rather
being
not.
close together.
Yeah.
Kengo Kuma's notoriously about patterning. You can see his roof even has patterns on it.
Oh really?
Or look any of these, like just those roof tiles in the mesh.
All right.
No, I mean the roof, that previous roof that you had.
Right.
If you go back,
Like What one?
The image that you had up before.
Where is this?
Okay, yeah. See the edge of the roof on the left?
Yeah.
See how it's got like little light dots on it?
Sorry, my doorbell.
Click the
Ring.
image just below this.
Okay. Sorry.
Can you
give me
make it bigger? No, yeah, that image. Make it bigger.
could you give me a minute? I think my delivery is coming.
Pardon?
The delivery is coming. It's ringing my doorbell.
Ah, okay. Go deal with your doorbell.
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay.
Let's keep talking about the facades. Yeah.
Yeah. So look, there is actually like, even though it's like you could describe this as being quite a simple facade, right? There's quite a lot of
somehow, yeah.
There's quite a lot of patterning and complexity in that simplicity. Also, just the fact that you've got these those slanted roof elements.
Yeah.
Having them come through and reacting to them, there's a bit of work there, man.
Right. I'm just kind of like, confused by like how like, while you make something quite simple, you also want to share like, complexity behind it. Like, because like what I can see right now, like from the facade that he's having here, like if I want to like replicate the same kind of like pattern, I'm probably just gonna like use the random like, random plugin. That's not a plugin. Yeah, I'm just gonna random the, the louvers on the yeah, I'm just gonna random it. Like that's
don't just randomize it. Try and add some control to the randomness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no look. When do you see a building out there that's just random?
Yes. I mean, I don't know, like if that's a random one or not. Yeah, I know. I get it.
Like, I'm just gonna type random building in. That's cool. Like this is look.
Stop my section.
If you Google random building facade, can you see any of these that are actually like random, truly random?
I think they probably have a.
They all have like
logic.
systems and logic involved, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like this one's not random. All these little scoopy things, they're happening in certain zones. There's solar panels on them when they get to a certain size. See?
Cool.
Yeah, there's no there's no such thing as a random building facade. There's a human somewhere making a decision, and in this case, that human's going to be you. So, What's this? Random building generator. If only. It's the same building. It's the same building shape. They're just putting decoration on it. It is cool though. Or is it?
Wait, is it the same?
Pardon?
Is it the same?
It's the same. Look, it's the same building.
Oh, you're right.
But he's because it looks isometric, like it's orthographic. So they're just picking up these assets and repeating them. So you can see this is just a bus that's like stuck into it, and then it's just, that's probably the same bus. And see this water tower? It's just repeated. 2 water towers. 2 water towers. They look like the same image.
Being mirrored.
Pardon?
Being the same image being mirrored.
Yeah, it's interesting that he's signing it every time. Alejandra. Cool. Do you need me to clarify anything?
No, I think I'll play with it for a few days. Then I'll see like if I have any more questions.
Sure.
Thank you.
No problem. Doesn't look like Russell's back.
I can do it now.
Okay,
I'm
there you go.
available.
How did your internet thing go?
Well, my mom did it. It was just that her desk is right next to my desk because we're still moving in. So yeah, haven't really worked on too much on the facades yet. So I've just been playing around with it.
Oh yeah.
I had a talk with Leah about half an hour ago, and we're wondering about how we could like work with the building shape that I have. So what he recommends is that it would be like a 2-layer design. So if I could find, he said we should look at the material science building in Unit W. And he recommended like sort of like this, with having 2 layers. Just all like vertical, but also like have it sort of random with changing like the materials and the colors. Like if I can find all the way back, like sort of like this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, with this building shape. So I'm just wondering how I could like actually do it in like Grasshopper without it like.
You've not given yourself much room to work,
No,
right?
that's the problem.
Because that's the boundary of your building, yeah?
Yeah.
So
this is the boundary.
So that's the maximum size the building can be.
Well, actually, I think I can make it a tiny bit smaller. I think it's like I can make the floor plate smaller.
Exactly.
So I can.
Yeah, you should shrink. You should shrink the building to give yourself a bit of room to play around with your facade.
Definitely. That's what I'm thinking.
Yep.
Because I'm at the max FSR already on this, so I think I'm gonna have to shrink it with the floor plates.
Yep.
On all 3 levels.
Yep.
And then I'm gonna work with like one of these. He was like, you should probably do something like this. Where it's like.
Yeah, that one's an interesting one. Because you've got these louvers that all you're doing is you're changing the rotation of them. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like that's all I've really done so far. So I'm not sure like what else. We have a lesson next week, right? Because we skipped.
No,
we didn't.
No, the last. Oh, hang on. This is week 10.
This is week 10. Yes.
We were meant to have a lesson week 11, but we're postponing that lesson to week 12. But that doesn't mean that we're not going to respond to
all right.
Requests. Look, don't send private. By the way, guys, don't send private messages to me or Leo on Slack. Just send them to the code thing so that everyone can see the code 21321.
Okay.
But what I'm like, if you go back to your model, just consider like you're actually using that sort of like 30-degree slant in your actual design. So wouldn't you actually, like, if you set your building back a little bit, you could like overextend that and have it actually come down to the ground and do something interesting with it. Not have it actually be straight, but yeah, curve it or do something.
Yeah. So I'm gonna try to figure that out. So it would be like slanted. I'm just gonna try to figure that out. That's gonna be like the difficult part. It's gonna be a lot of trial and error.
Yeah, well, and also design. Like,
yeah,
you're gonna have to come up with something that looks good, which you can. I definitely think you can pull it off. The building already has this like it's got this. At the moment, it looks like it's from the 70s.
Yeah.
And you could either condense that and go for like, if you go back to your facades in Google and type in 70s facade, like you can be like, oh, I really want to go for it like a 70s look. Yeah, actually 70s facades aren't going to look any different to what we've done. Oh yeah, like this, like it's called type in international style facade. Sort of like if you could go really sort of just box louvers, and that building's gonna look like it came out of the 70s.
Boring.
Well, boring.
Not boring.
Yeah, but like if you've got you've set yourself up to play around with like parametric NURB surfaces there, man. You know?
There was one that I was kind of interested in. It's like diagonal.
Oh yeah, good old
Diagonal ones, but I feel like this one is this one. No, it's this one.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, just sort of like floating louvers.
Yeah.
That literally just like if you support them in a really thin, simple way, then it's almost like they're just completely floating off your building, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could do that.
And I'll just have to like extend.
But check out that. No, go back. See, bottom right, second from the right. Like, because of that angle that you've got on your building, you've almost set yourself up to do like stuff like this, man.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah. All right.
Like, I'm just saying, like, you've got at the moment, your building actually could do this and also that other facade. You could do both.
All right.
If you go back to your design, I'll draw on your screen. Like if you pull this back here, then you can do that sort of warpy play through here. You know, it could do this, it could do this, it could do that. And then you've got your you've got this zone here to sort of play with that whatever like I'm just saying this because if you look back at that simpler facade, you could probably do that in about 30 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's make it interesting. All right.
It's just because this is like most buildings don't do this.
No.
So celebrate it.
All right.
Yeah?
Yep. I'll do that. So I'll just have to offset the floor plates a tiny bit or make it smaller, and then just like I can work from it then.
What's the maximum height?
The maximum height's like 30 meters.
So if you shrink your facade back,
Yeah, and then I can just add another floor.
yeah, shrink it back enough that you can add another floor.
All right, and I can just put that in the presentation, right?
Yeah.
To show the evolution. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
like look, I've done this, but because of the facade option, we've actually shrunk the footprint of the building, which it's made it a little bit taller. But it's meant that we've been because you guys weren't considering the facade back when we were doing the massing, right?
No.
Now, the next building that you design, what are you going to consider whilst you're doing the massing?
Yeah, the facades. Adding the facades in.
Good.
All right, that gives a lot of insight actually on what to do. I thought the building shape was going to be like really bad, but you know what? Seems I can do a lot with it.
Well, can you go to the other one of the other corners?
Ooh, other corners.
So they're both sort of flat corners, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't remember this, but does this building like run into another building?
No, I think it's on a separate plot. I can pull up the.
Is it on a corner?
Let me pull up the actual. I think I have it somewhere here.
Yeah. While you're looking for that,
I probably forgot.
It's interesting that you're sitting next to your mum.
Yeah.
It means people like all the students working from home, they're suddenly like around their parents, and usually uni has nothing to do with parents.
It's sort of awkward. I'm gonna be real.
But she can't hear what I'm saying, right?
She can't hear now.
Okay.
So I think this is it. Yeah. So
which
building.
One is it? Okay.
It's this one.
So go back to your other model. I think you should look, even though you're reacting to the fact that this is like a site boundary condition, that doesn't stop you from doing like this, right? Like actually having it go all the way around your building.
Yeah, I actually initially did not. I wanted to go all the way around the building, but when I was working with the setbacks, it kind of just like.
Yeah, it basically means that you're using just one setback type, right?
Yeah, I was using one setback type, but I could probably fix it now if we're just showing off.
I would show off now, and what I'd also do is maybe even try like if you either like fillet the chamfer the corners or fillet them, then you can have this facade element that's doing like its thing like this, like wrap around the building instead of like stop.
Yeah. Yep.
And you've got plenty of room to go up.
Yeah.
So you can actually push your building back, and you could even say, okay, here's this cool facade element that's doing this thing, and because it's been pushed back, that's actually providing like a it's providing like a zone through here that's far better for retail. Like, because if you push that back and you've got like a street and you've got this canopy running over the top, doing its thing, wrapping around, then like all these spaces that you've put in here, they actually look like little shops, or they could be restaurants or whatever, and then they end up with these like cool like fresco style like zones under a canopy that they can sort of like be semi-outdoor areas.
All right.
With this cool canopy of like canopy / facade on top.
Yeah, I can see. It's like where is it? It's like near the Sydney Opera House. I think they have the sort of same thing, whereas like the facade is like going up and down in like a curving motion, and then they have all the restaurants and the entrances to the Opera House there. I can see it now. Yeah.
You could even sort of say, hey, you might reserve like this particular facade here, depending on which way it's facing, for this pattern. But then here you could wrap that, like it could wrap down, and so this particular facade can like take over in certain zones based on the like whether or not it's which way it's facing, because you don't need these blades when it's facing south, so you can do like this weird and wacky thing on the south face and not be worried about the sun.
Okay.
And so, and look, this is just like a seed that should like everyone here should be able to take like a simple thing like a facade and have millions of options to do. So go for it. Just have some fun with it.
All right. Yeah, I don't have any other questions.
Okay.
That really helped.
Cool.
Thank you.
I'm gonna take a break as well because I'm hungry. So I'll be back. I'll be back in about 30 minutes. Is it clever to just leave my laptop here and go get lunch?
If Josh is there, yes. If
He's
Josh
not,
is there,
he's
no.
not here. He's gone.
Then no.
They'll be whoever steals it will be stealing a batteryless laptop. Okay, I'm gonna have to. What if I just hide it?
I'm sorry. Which one is the screen button? Oh,
The green one.
Oh, I see it. Sorry. I was planning to like have a interior facade as the waterproof one, and then have a like wood base facade for the shadings and the decoration. Just like this kind of facade. And I was planning to have like angle based so that it doesn't just come straight out of my building, because my building is kind of like a straight surface on each side.
Yeah. Okay. Just be careful with this type of facade. Because it blocks almost all the sunlight.
Sorry, this one is just like the kind of facade. I'm not gonna do like this kind of blocking all the way to the window.
Well, okay. Just before you do though, you can see. Just to talk about this one, they have like they have this alternating system, right? That gives it a bit of interest. So for every second slot, there's a major panel in the lower half of the facade.
Sorry. The bigger picture. You mean
Hang on, I'll draw it.
Yeah.
So here, there's a major slot that just goes, like you can see, it goes all
Yes.
the way through this zone. And then, but then in the second top half, they have just these smaller panels that are actually following the pattern, which is this.
Yep.
And it just gives it a bit of
Decoration.
Yeah, it's like a little. It's not uniform, but
Yep.
it has some interest to it. So like you could potentially borrow like the idea of the patterning and the drawing of a zone and putting having different facade systems interact with each other. Like just the idea that you've got maybe glass and like a louver, and then like maybe an aluminium panel, and then you might have a fin here. And so if you design a system that could be like, okay, it's just aluminium panel and glass, or you could have aluminium panel, glass, and a fin, or aluminium panel, glass, and a louver, or all three, or this could also be aluminium, or it could be both glass. Like you could play with these three different
elements.
Like, okay, in this zone it's aluminium, glass, in this zone it's aluminium, aluminium, and in this zone it's glass, glass, or timber. And then you could start sort of having these zones interact on your facade. It'd be cool.
Yes. And I probably wouldn't do like this kind of frequency in terms of the panels.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
Yeah, because that basically blocks every sunlight apart from the connections here.
I actually think these probably have. It looks like they've got like an open zone up here that lets the light in, like through. So the light comes in like at that angle into the system, but when it's low, it gets blocked. I don't know why they do that, but
okay.
Why would they do that? Is this in Europe?
Would you mind I just click into it and have a look? Yeah.
No, it's in Asia, I think.
Something interest.
Southeast Asia.
Please. Then they are granular.
New South Wales.
Oh, it's in Sydney. Okay.
Why would you do that? Oh, because it's a gallery. That's why.
Oh, so they want to hide out the sun coming from outside so that they can focus on the art piece?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
They can't have any sun hitting the artwork or it'll get damaged.
Oh, okay.
So they've got these like skylights, it looks like, that lets light, like a little bit of light in. Natural light. Yeah, that's what they're doing. There's also it's a polo field with an art gallery attached to it.
So they're putting a gallery in the golf park.
No, not golf, polo.
Sorry, I don't know what is a polo.
It's this really, it's like considered a very rich person's sport where you ride around on a horse and you have like a mallet on the end of a stick and you hit a ball. You know Ralph Lauren?
I'm sorry, I have very less knowledge on this area.
Do you know Ralph Lauren?
No.
Okay.
I'll probably search it up later on my own.
It's
Yeah.
it's quite an antiquated. It's a sport where you need to own a horse,
Okay.
and not very many people watch it, so it's quite niche.
Okay.
So that's what you're considering?
Yeah.
Is there any questions, or I feel like you know how to do this?
Yes, and doing this in Grasshopper.
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I can figure it out.
You can figure it out. I know you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. And yeah, I don't think I have any other questions. But if I'm facing questions during my work, I would probably just post it in the Slack.
Yep.
Would that be okay?
Yep. Yep. Don't
Okay.
post them to me directly. Post them in
Yes.
the group.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Are we free to go or?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Do you know where all these other people are except for Paolo?
They're in Leo's room because Leo's kind of holding a session in the afternoon saying that if you want to watch more feedbacks, you can just go in there. I'm going there right now, so that's why I'm asking.
Okay, because I went in there just before and there was only one other person there.
Oh really? Okay.
So
then I guessed, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, what I mean is, Leo and I've spoken to Emilio and Paolo, so I guess Yuki, if you're there, I'm happy to talk to you, mate. Otherwise, see you, mate. See you, Zilu.
See you. They just call me Arno. I don't know why the
Arno, sorry.
Yeah, it's
see
alright.
you, Arno.
See you. Thank you.
No problem.